Hey everyone at Mainnet Messari. Um, it's me, Stani, the founder and CEO at Aave. So our team built the Aave protocol, which is one of the most biggest decentralized finance protocols, securing billions worth of value at the moment. And recently we built the Lens protocol, which is a social media protocol that allows creators to own their social identity on chain, and also their relationship with their audiences, and also monetize the creation of content with the Lens protocol. Today, we're going to talk about a very fascinating topic, which is user-generated content is the next big asset class for NFTs, and I will explain a bit further why I am very bullish about actually user-generated content and why it's very valuable for Web3 social and what kind of impacts it has. To start with, very simple introduction. So user-generated content is something that we all create all the time. So pretty much everyone has a social media account where you might be actually posting pictures, you might be sharing video, audio, you might be commenting on some interesting posts that various different giga chats are sharing on Twitter. You might actually be creating content even on TikTok, or just sharing your photos amongst your friends and close peers on Instagram. One big kind of like a connecting dot with all of the user-generated content that we see in big social media platforms in Web2 at the moment is that whatever content you're creating, you usually aren't able as a user to directly monetize what you're creating within the platform and what you are sharing. So for example, if you create a video content or you're posting tweets on Twitter, effectively many of the users are actually seeing a lot of the ads between the posts, and also you as the user, you are the product within these bigger social media platforms. And in many cases, creators that are dependent on their livelihood on their social presence usually rely on diverting the traffic towards where they can actually sell their products or services. And these networks that they create over a long period of time and creating follower bases, you can't really monetize directly. And we've seen also the influencer market, if you want to call them, grown into $16 billion industry. We have a lot of product placements at the moment in many of the social media applications by many of these creators. And many of the platforms that we have in Web2 aren't necessarily bad in terms of user-generated content, and actually they've been part of the internet history for actually enabling of creation of the user-generated content and distributing it across globally. So for example, if you have a niche area that you are very much specialized in opinions or in a particular category, such as for example, music or fashion, you might find peers and people that are interested in your content across globally. And this is how many of the ideas in Web3 by itself has got a lot of peer support, because internet is all about connecting people together. So Web2 as kind of like a forum for user-generated content has had a lot of positive impact. But the more interesting question actually is, how can we do better? Now, user-generated content in Web3 isn't actually a very new thing, and it actually existed before the Lens protocol itself, without actually having any social media protocols on within Web3. So for example, many of the digital art that are created as NFTs are actually one form of user-generated content. So you might own some of these NFTs. Your peers might own the same NFTs as, for example, you might have in your wallet. Might be, for example, Bored Apes, or it might be Cryptocurrencies, or Finiliers, or anything out there. The common interesting fact is that these digital art, or let's say digital expression, is actually verified in the form of NFTs, and there is vast secondary market activity, meaning that these assets, these creations actually have value as well. They have value in multiple reasons, but what's fascinating about the recent progress with the NFTs is that NFTs are creating communities, but at the same time, they're actually reflecting the value what these communities or the public is actually seeing in them. So it's basically creates a group of collectors, and for different reasons. You might, for example, like a particular community because there is some interesting roadmap ahead, or it's an interesting initiative, or it's actually becoming more of a culture within that community that is widespreading. Now, we know that there is NFTs that are creating big communities, and they're created by the users, but there's also a big category of user-generated content that we've seen underpowered at the moment, and that's maybe content that isn't actually as digital art. That might be, for example, audio with music NFTs, which is getting more popular, or actually text within context. We've seen also the power of memes and how the Web3 ecosystem has been able to actually go back in time and reward some of the bigger memes that we've seen in the internet. So, for example, the Nyan Cat meme is one example where a meme was bought at $600,000 worth. A meme that was made ages ago and tokenized as NFT and then purchased. Same thing happened with the Doge meme at $4 million, and also the legendary meme of Charlie with my finger YouTube video at 760,000K. So it just showcases that the memes are getting valued by the market, but also they have cultural significance as well. The biggest interesting part here is that these user-generated content actually, and with Web3, creates a way for becoming monetized. The key distinguishing difference here is that many of these memes and the content has been monetized and rewarded retroactively. So the next question is actually how we can reward and monetize user-generated content that is created on spot, and if they have cultural relevance, how that monetization can actually be kept part of that creator, the fan base, and the future market relationship as well. So one of the interesting things that we have been focusing on researching and also experimenting is within the Lens protocol, how we can actually create features that are bringing direct monetization and value to the creators. And the way the Lens protocol actually works is that you as a creator, you create a social media profile. That profile is tokenized as an NFT, so you can move it from one address to another. It's composable and portable, so any application built on top of the Lens protocol, you can sign with the same profile. And the profile gives you the ability to publish content. The content can be video, audio, text, pretty much anything that is digital. You can even drop games hosted on IPFS as well. And the power of the Lens protocol is that you can actually as any content you publish is actually a tokenized as NFTs. So the users of the social network and your followers, they can actually collect the NFTs as well. And the creators can even set that the NFTs can be collected on a certain period of time, completely for free, or they can actually monetize these NFTs. So if it's a meme, or for example, if it's a photography that you might be taking as a hobby, or some interesting moments in your life, or within the community, it can be completely text-based. Your followers and the followers actually networks can actually collect that piece of content, and that's where the exciting parts comes, because now first time ever any content can actually be distributed across a social network, Web3 powered social network, and also collected, and which brings direct monetization tools to these creators and users. And because all the followers are actually also on chain, so the social graph is reflected through the blockchain, these creators actually are owning their relationships, and anyone can become a creator with Lens Protocol and monetize their user-generated content. And this is where things are becoming exciting, because it's the community that values what are important and exciting content that the user has, and brings the actual utility and the status into whatever the creators are posting. And also one interesting example is the Rememe tool, which is built by Newt, which is a experimentation pods put in the other companies, where you can actually remix any existing meme that is shared within the Lens protocol, and actually share the monetization across the original creators. So you have also the network effect of remixing and being incentivized to remixing and adding additional value to an existing content. Now let's take a look quickly how things has been working so far. So the Lens protocol has been live in mainnet for 2.5 months. There's roughly 65,000 profiles. It's still in a beta closed phase, as it's smart contract based protocol, so we want to make sure it works well. We have almost 500,000 and content-based NFTs created, and some of them are actually content that you pay to collect, and that creates monetization for these creators directly without diverting the traffic to somewhere else. And some of the popular categories at the moment are actually music NFTs, music content that has been shared, art, photography, and more recently also memes. On average, every single profile that is on the Lens protocol is owning almost $3 per profile. So this is the number that we're very excited about and want to see how it will grow in the future. What effectively is happening with the Lens protocol is it makes every single user on the internet a creator, and gives the direct ability to actually create, but also monetize the content in a way where you don't have to rely on advertising or diverting your audience to somewhere else. And also the ability to mirror content to your audience that is aligned what your audience is excited to see in the future. And if you don't have at the moment yet Lens protocol, the Lens community has been whitelisting different kinds of communities to get early access. So by scanning this QR code, you'll be able to fill a form, submit some details, and we're able to give you an access to the protocol. Thank you so much for having me here today, and I wish you everyone a very good conference at Mainnet. Thank you.